What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Dad Needs to Talk podcast. I'm your host, Robert, and today we're just going to be doing a little recap of all the state of play announcements from PlayStation, as well as kind of highlight a few cool manga I've been reading lately. So, I hope everybody out there is doing well. It has been a pretty chill week, all things considered. Kind of trying to get the ball rolling on a few things that I'll touch on in a second. But as always, if this is your first time here, then welcome. But if you're a returning listener and or watcher, then welcome back. Y'all know here at Daddy's to Talk, it's all about fatherhood and family, manga, anime, TV shows, movies, and of course, some video games. So, like I said, life overall has been doing pretty well. My kids are done with basketball for school for the year, and now we're my daughters are transitioning over to track. One of my daughters, she already had a track meet the other day, so it was like a very quick transition. And the other daughter, she'll be starting this coming week. And then outside of that, they're kind of getting the ball rolling for their club basketball outside of school stuff. So my son and daughters, they all had their first official team practice and stuff today, and the teams and stuff are looking pretty solid. So I'm looking forward to seeing how all that goes with the progress and stuff. Um, but yeah, aside from that, it's just been, like I said, just chilling. I got tomorrow off of work, so hopefully me and my sons maybe might get to sneak away and go and see a movie. That's the plan at least. But we'll see if I'll be able to make that happen. So I think I'm gonna go and just kind of just dive right into things. 'Cause like I said, I kind of just really don't want. I don't have like a whole lot I want to talk on, but I still just want to just kind of share my excitement for a few of these game announcements and stuff that happened this week. So let's go and just jump right into it. So PlayStation had a state of play a few days ago, and there was actually a handful of things that like really caught my attention, and a couple of them in particular. So they on the PlayStation blog, I get why they did it, but it is what it is. Like they got all the announcements in alphabetical order instead of the order in which they happened, but it is what it is. So let's just kind of just scroll through this list, and I'll just kind of just shout out just some highlights of things, whatever, and I'll touch on the things specifically that excite me or whatever. So Borderlands 4 got a official release date. It's coming out September 23rd of this year. I know my nephew is pretty excited about it. Every time they've been showing Borderlands 4 stuff, I get a text within a few hours and stuff. So, but that's coming out later this year, and I think they're planning on doing like a dedicated state of play or something surrounding it in the coming months. Next up, this is one of the highlights for me from the show. It's called Darwin's Paradox, and it's a puzzle platformer basically about this octopus trying that gets snatched up from the sea and is trying to escape this factory. And I know you're looking at the cover and stuff like, okay, Robert, this what is this kitty looking thing? Well, looking at the gameplay and stuff for it, it kind of gave me Inside vibes. So if you've ever played Inside or Limbo, those games were super dope, super atmospheric. And so this game kind of gave me similar vibes to those. Only difference is just that you're an octopus. so, so I'm looking forward to that. We don't have a release date for that one yet, but whenever it comes, I'll be there to check it out. Let me see. There's a Dave the Diver crossover with Like a Dragon. Days Gone remaster coming out in April. I still kind of want to get back to this game at some point because I started it years ago and got a good chunk in. I can't remember why I stopped playing it, but I would be interested in, checking it out some more. And so who knows? Maybe I might do this with this remaster at some point. So, But moving on from there, we got a new Digimon story game called Digimon Time Stranger that's coming out later this year. Now, years ago, I played Cyber Sleuth. That was the name of that game. I played that game many, many, many years ago, and I actually enjoyed that one or whatever. I don't think I ever finished the story mode, but I put a lot of time into that one. So we'll see how that one looks and goes. Next up, we got a new game from Supermassive called Directive 8020. Now, I believe they showed this game off maybe at the Game Awards or sometime last year. They announced it. Well, it's got an official release date of October 2nd. And so this is like a new game in the kind of like Dark Pictures anthology. So this is the same studio that did Until Dawn back in the day and The Quarry a few years ago. And they've also done like these like shorter anthology games over the last like several years. So this looks to be like part of a new wave of those. So, but it looks very cool, very atmospheric. I don't do too much horror stuff, but the trailer for it looked really cool though. Let's see. Dreams of Another was an interesting looking game. It's coming to PS5 and PSVR 2. No date or anything on it or whatever. Kind of a weird looking game, so I don't really have too much to say on it. Don't care about Five Nights at Freddy's. Hell is Us. So this game, this is another one that got revealed like a year or so ago. It's coming out on September 4th. And so this is kind of like a action adventure game. And one of kind of like the selling points for this game is something about like from what I remember, I think them saying that there isn't going to be any like specific hints and waypoints and stuff listed in the game. It's kind of just, hey, play it and figure it out type of game. So, but the stuff that they showed in the trailer and stuff for it looked pretty dope. So, don't know if it might be something I would play, whatever, but it looks really good. Next up, got Lies of P Overture. So, this is going to be a prequel DLC for Lies of P. Um, so, this is a game I've talked about before. I never played the full release of Lies of P. I played the demo for it years ago, a couple years ago before the game officially came out. And I've kind of been getting the itch to play the game at some point because so I went through to like play the demo again like a few months ago, whatever, and saw that I think that the demo even has been getting updated and stuff, whatever. So it's on my radar. I think I probably will try to get to the game, the full game before this DLC comes out and stuff. So because I've been lucky for over a year avoiding spoilers and stuff because I've heard like the ending for the first game is like super dope and sets up things for a sequel. So I definitely kind of want to get around to that at some point. So I've been kind of eyeing it, keeping an eye on sales and stuff. So I might pick that up in the very near future to finally get around to Lies of P. But yeah, this DLC is supposed to be coming out sometime this summer. No firm date on it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. Uh, they put out a demo for Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza. That's out now. This game, Lost Soul Aside, got a release date for PS5 and PC coming out May 30th. It's like a sci-fi action adventure game. Um, from my understanding, this game was majority built by one dude. He spent the better part of like a decade working on this stuff. So, but that's gonna be coming out at the end of May. What is this one? Metal Eden. So this was a sci-fi first-person shooter that's coming out May 6th. Uh, that looked pretty interesting. Nothing I'm probably gonna play. And that's the other thing I was gonna say. With this state of play, is that it really kind of started to fill in more of the calendar for the year, which is pretty cool to see because I know a lot of people have been kind of like there hasn't been many release dates past like May or whatever because I know a lot of people are trying to wait and see what GTA 6 is gonna do But finally, a lot of studios are kind of being like, okay, you know what, we're going to plan putting our date. Like I said, throughout May, we got some stuff in September, October, like that. I know like a big potential hint is because Borderlands 4 is coming out at the end of September. So Borderlands is on, like, the IP went back under Take Two, which is the same parent company that owns Rockstar Games, which does Grand Theft Auto, and so it's doubtful that they would put them like super super close. But anyway, so I just wanted to mention that about the release dates getting filled in. Let's see, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater got a date for August 25th, August 28th. My eyes are playing tricks on me. But never really played many of the Metal Gear Solid games. I think I might have mentioned before the most experience I ever got with a Metal Gear game was back with the PS3. My older sister, had gotten uh, a Metal Gear Solid 4 PS3 launch bundle. I think like her and my brother in law, they were just at Walmart one day, or whatever, and saw like a crazy line for something in the electronics section or whatever, and so they just happened to hop in a line, and they ended up getting the opportunity to get the PS4 bundle. But obviously they didn't play, so they it came with that game, and they got some other games or whatever. But because at the time, all of my nieces and nephews were itty bitty children, because this was like 2008 or something like that, 2007, 2008, somewhere in that time frame. So yeah, none of them were even teenagers. They were still like little kids. And so they had this copy of Metal Gear Solid 4 tucked away in the closet or whatever. And I was like, you know what? Uncle Robert I'm an adult. I'm going to try this game out. Man, that was my first experience with like really, really, really high definition gaming. And I'll never forget just being like, yo, what am I looking at? Because back in the day with PS3 and stuff, when games had to install and stuff, whatever, the loading slash install screen was just Solid Snake standing there smoking. And it looked so freaking realistic. It was like, yo, this is insane. And I'm just watching the install screen. But that's pretty much the most experience. And I played like a little bit of the actual game once it loaded up. But other than that, I think I played a little bit of the Ground Zeroes demo thing. And I think that might be it. But anyway, moving on. Uh, Mind's Eye. So this game is very interesting. So this game is slated to come out sometime later this year, saying in the summer. And the studio behind this is called Build a Rocket Boy is the developer's name. But the main producer of the game is Leslie Benzies, who was one of the primary producers at Rockstar Games, all the way from back with Grand Theft Auto 3, all the way through Grand Theft Auto 5. So he was a main producer on 3, Vice City, San Andreas, 4, 5, Red Dead Redemption 1, I think Manhunt, and some other stuff in there, whatever. And so that's why when you're looking at this trailer, because it's like a, I don't know if I want to say sci-fi, but it's kind of like a future city action adventure game or whatever. You can see the Rockstar influence. And the other cool thing, let me double check my facts on this. Okay, yeah, just wanted to confirm. So yeah, so the cool thing that I'm excited about is that the main character of this game, whose name is Jacob Diaz, he is played by what's his name? An actor named Alex Hernandez, who was the voice actor of Mr. Lincoln Clay from Mafia 3. And he did a fantastic job in that role back in the day with that game, and so seeing him come back with this game, I was like, okay, just even more puts it on my radar. But yeah, so but yeah, like I said, you could definitely feel like you could definitely see the GTA lineage as far as like with like the world and driving around the cars and stuff, whatever. So yeah, so I'm kind of keeping my eye on that one tentatively. More Monster Hunter Wild stuff. Don't care. So okay, so they showed off some actual gameplay for the new Onimusha coming out next year, and that looked really cool. Like I don't know if I'm gonna try out some of the older Onimusha games because they're re-releasing Onimusha 2 in the coming months, but Onimusha 3 looked really interesting, especially like them like using the environments with like he was like in a room with a bunch of enemies surrounding him, and there was like a table that he flipped over and used for like cover to hide behind, and then I think he ended up like kicking it into somebody, whatever. So some very interesting like environmental stuff. I think he like pulled a blanket or something over somebody's head. So like little stuff. So might have to keep my eye on at least the new one and stuff. So all right, so the PlayStation Plus catalog, very interesting. So let me see if I can get a better look at this. Okay, cool. So let me shrink me down a hair. Okay, so for next month, Somerville. This is one. It was on Game Pass a couple years ago when it came out. I started it, never finished it, but hopefully, since it's gonna be on my system and not my wife's, on the PS5, I'm hoping to give that more of a shot. Jedi Survivor is a good get to add to the catalog. I really enjoyed that game a couple years ago. This is the main one I'm excited about. Lost Records, was it Bloom and Rage? So this is the new game series from the original creators of Life is Strange, and y'all know how much I enjoy Life is Strange. Even though I still haven't played the new one that came out last year, that is the first Life is Strange game since the first one came out that I have not picked up at launch. So I know I heard mixed things about that one or whatever, and I know that's a different studio than from what's making this, but I still want to get around to checking it out for myself. But anyway, so Lost Records, Bloom and Rage, it will be on PlayStation Plus actually in a couple of days. So looking forward to checking that out. So it'll be on PlayStation Plus in a couple of days for part one, and then when part two releases in a couple of months, then that will be on there as well. So, so yeah, so some pretty good things um, added to the catalog, and they also announced I think a couple of other indie games. What was it called? An architectural adventure game called Blueprints, and then a six-player survival crafting game that I don't really have any interest in. All right, so this was the big closer that they had for the show, this game called Sorrows. So this is the new game from Housemarque Studios, which is the studio that did Returnal a few years ago. So it was very dope seeing this trailer and that it's listed for coming out next year, and that they're gonna do like a big gameplay showcasing of it later on this year and stuff as well. So yeah, so very interested in this. Like Returnal looks really cool. I really like the idea of it, but that game was very hard, so I never really got much progress to the game. But this one is going to be built upon like the foundation of Returnal, but it's going to have more gameplay stuff that carries over between the different runs and loops and however they handle that. So I'm gonna keep my eye on that. I might give it a shot. We'll see. Next up, Shinobi Art of Vengeance. So I never played the Shinobi games back in the day on the NES and stuff, whatever or whatever system it was on. Uh, but this one looked really cool. This one looked really cool. It's really cool 2D action platformer game. It's coming out August 29th. So I'm gonna keep my eyes on this one. Cause it's really cool to see this, and there's also that 2D Ninja Gaiden one coming out later this year, so very dope. Let's see. Next up, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. So back in the day, me and my nieces and nephews loved playing uh, Sonic Racing Transformed. That game was so freaking cool. I think that was PS3 era. Um, and that Team Sonic Racing that they did some years back, whatever, never really liked that one. But this one seems to be getting back to the one I like. So yeah, so it's coming out. No firm date on it yet, but they are going to be doing some type of like play test in the coming days. So hopefully I can get access to that to at least try it out for myself. Yeah, the 21st, so Friday. So I'm gonna kind of keep my eyes open, see if I can get access to that. Speaking of tangent, speaking of getting access to stuff, so the Elden Ring, Night Rain, uh, online testing was this weekend. So I probably mentioned before, but like I never played base Elden Ring. And so I was like, you know what? I'll just shoot my shot, request, see if I can get access to this thing, whatever. So I got access to it, whatever. I literally run around for like 5 minutes and then I just turn it off. I just was not in the mood for it, especially because it is a co-op game, so you got to partner up with people. Now, if it was just like strictly single player, I might would have just like run around, mess with some enemies and stuff, whatever. But since it was queuing up for you have to match up, whatever, I was just like, I'm not in the mood for this. But yeah, just want to share that little funny tangent with that. So moving on, another trailer for Split Fiction coming out in March. Splitgate Don't Care. Stellar Blade crossover with what is this? Victor Victory Nikki. Don't know what that is, but that's coming. I still want to get back to play the actual base game of Stellar Blade at some point. The Midnight Walk. It's a little horror, fantasy, horror adventure game coming out May 8th. And yeah. So this next one was one of the highlights for me. This Tides of Annihilation. So this game is made by a Chinese studio called Eclipse Glow Studio. And it is a single player action adventure game that takes place in a mystical London where you play as this lady named Gwendolyn. And it says players will take on the role of Gwendolyn, who wields the power of a mysterious gray mist that can manifest two spectral knights at her side, with players required to strategically choose which knights to summon based upon their preferred gameplay style and the challenges they face. So this looked like a really dope character action style game. So I am very excited to check this out. I don't think they didn't have any type of like release window on this, but whenever it comes out, it'll be top of my list to check out. So, but it looks really good. Like I said, just like this, like uh, mystical looking London environment, and something about like you fighting or commanding a lot of the knights of the Round Table and stuff. So that everything, just like the environments, the action, everything that's really good. Um, the base trailer was dope, but then they also did a 11-minute gameplay showcase for it, which was pretty cool. I watched like a good little chunk of it, but I was like, you know what? I'm already sold on the game. Don't need to see too much of it. What else? Warriors Abyss, which is a Dynasty Warriors roguelike game. Got shadow dropped that same day as the event. So go check that out if you're interested. WWE thing, and that is it. So overall, this was a pretty solid showcase for me. Like I said, my main standouts were Tides of Annihilation and Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. Uh, Lost Records being on PlayStation Plus. Onimusha looked really good. Mind's Eye got my attention. and then of course, like I mentioned, the Darwin's paradox because of the inside vibes. So those are kind of the ones that are really on my radar for the upcoming year and some change. So yeah. So let me move on to the next thing. Okay, so I don't have too much to talk about with different shows or whatever, but I did want to shout out Alice in Borderland season 3 got announced for coming out sometime in September of this year, so I'm very excited to check that out. Um, and all the TV show stuff I'm gonna save for a later date because Severance was really good. I'm not gonna spoil anything with that. I'm purposely waiting to watch the new episode of Paradise because another episode coming out in a couple of days, so I might save it to watch those closer back to each other. Um, I did so anime wise, really briefly. So I did finish watching what's it called? The Japanese name Dan Machi, which is also Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon season 3. Um, and like I was told before I started watching the show last year, whatever, is that with each season it gets better and better and better, and it definitely does. Because I think I had started season 3 last year because I had binged season 1 and 2 pretty close together um some point like early last year, I believe. But then I got to season 3 and I just kind of just paused after like an episode or two. But I ended up watching like wherever I was at, like episode 3 through 12, pretty much yeah, across last night and then today. So really good. I'm probably gonna jump into season 4 after I finish recording and get this podcast put up and stuff for y'all. But yeah, so shout out to that show. Um Medalist is so freaking heartwarming. So I was 2 episodes behind on Medalists this week, and I watched both of them, and it was a perfect pairing because I just really enjoy the two main characters, the young girl and the coach, and even just kind of getting to see more backstory with the coach and him kind of talking to uh shoot, let me get these characters' names. Um Inori about what his situation and stuff was with because we knew that he also started skating late, but we didn't have full context for that situation or whatever. He like really detailed it all for Hikaru, which is very awesome to kind of get more context into him and why he is the way he is as a character and stuff. So yeah, so shout out to Medalist, and I have to keep saying I'm very happy that this is also simul-dub, so it kind of just makes it very easy to just sit back and chill and watch. Solo Leveling was amazing, with what they're doing. Apothecary Diaries was also a really good episode this week. As we continue to unravel the mystery of like what's going on with the different incense and stuff. So that was really good. And yeah, I think that's it anime wise. Let me just look. Yeah, that's really all I wanted to shout out anime wise. I do want to continue to kind of go back and clean up my old watch list with all this stuff that I stopped. I really need to go back and finish Code Geass and No Longer Allowed Another World and Dahlia and several others. But that's kind of what I've been doing. That's why I watched Most Notorious Talker last week because I was just in a mood to watch something, and I'm like, I got plenty of stuff that is already at least have a completed season or two that I need to go back and finish. So that's what I've been kind of doing, kind of like cleaning up my backlog of stuff. But yeah, so let me go ahead and just kind of just jump into some of this manga stuff. So very briefly, just kind of want to shout out a few things. So Spy Family. So we're kind of starting off on a new arc right now because I guess it's like the start of a new term or a new semester for Anya and Spy Family. And so we kind of got some shifting of classes. So lots of new classmates and new characters to meet and stuff. Um, that I don't know, it just continue making it fun to read. Embers Chapter 3 was also really good. I really like how they're continuing to set up the different characters that are going to be on the team and stuff that they're kind of slowly building up. Man, Ruri Dragon, I really need to catch up on this. Like, how far behind was I? I think I was like somewhere like around the teens because it came back. Let me see, it came back around Marchish last year, so I was somewhere down here, and they're almost to chapter 30. So I got to do some catching up on Ruby Dragon. Itchy the Witch, another really good chapter. Descaris did a blood contract with Itchy, so it's kind of setting up their continuing bond growing and stuff in like a real mentor pupil situation. And then we're kind of setting off on the next quest for the next magic they got to conquer and stuff. So let me see. I'm still letting the Kane chapters build up. I'm like 4 or 5 chapters behind now, but that is good. Uh, the Marshal King. So I just really got to show some love for this series. So the Marshal King, what are we on? Chapter 2. So I can't help being somebody from Texas, born and raised, lived here my whole life in Texas. The art, Boichi's art, is perfect for a Western. I love all the different character designs, and I can't help but when I'm reading the chapter to read it in the Southern, Western accent in my mind with these characters. I'm just like already kind of putting together what the voices is gonna sound like and stuff. If they ever do an anime someday in the future, but but yeah, man, like I'm just really just liking just reading it. I love all the different character designs and stuff. I love the attitude of the characters. It really fits like classic Desperados and old Western stuff, whatever. Like he like the main character legit was like, you're mighty purty, man. Type of vibe. But yeah, so really enjoying the Marshall King. I just had to just kind of give that a shout out because it was cool to kind of see the cast of it, continuing to grow because now that the MC is in this school or this academy, however you want to phrase it, getting to see a bunch of characters. Now I am interested in learning, hopefully soon, what the age of a lot of these characters and stuff are because we had this one dude who was walking through the halls or whatever, and he's like, I'm a year 8 student, 40 years old or 42, something whatever. I was like, wait, what? So I'm like, okay, so these ain't just like high school kids or whatever. These are potentially people of varying ages or whatever, which would be cool to see. But yeah, just shout out to the Marshall King. Like I said, I know it's only 2 chapters so far, but I'm really digging the vibe and the art and the whole aesthetic of it and stuff. So um, let me see. Oh yeah, I just want to shout out a couple other manga real quick. Okay, so I did a whole separate small recommendation thing for this, but I just want to shout out again. Let's Take a Walk in Another World. So this is a isekai about a kid or about a guy that gets summoned with his class to another world. He ends up getting a trash ability where his ability is walking, where he can walk and never get tired or fatigued while walking. But what he discovers while doing this is that he's actually leveling up. And so once he walks like 1,000 steps or whatever, he levels up and he starts unlocking other abilities and perks and stuff. And so I'm like really deep into this. I'm like 60 chapters or something crazy into this. And it's just been such a cozy, fun read. Now, where I'm at now in the 60s, 70s, or whatever, it did start getting some more serious story stuff happening with the world building and some other characters, but this is still just one I definitely wanted to shout out. And another one, and this is one that I am reading right now, called Longing for Home. Now, this is one, and honestly, shout out to K Manga, just because of like these last few weeks, most everything I've read has been from K Manga. So this one is kind of like a dystopian um, series where, so basically, the main character, Taro, he wakes up 500 years in the future from basically like hibernation slash cryogenic sleep. So basically, a very bad, basically like a snowstorm, like an ice age was about to hit um, the region he was in, because he was in Iraq. He's originally from Japan, but he had moved to Iraq for work and stuff, whatever. And so he, because of the position he has in the company he works for, they built this underground um, hibernation thing, whatever. And so he and his family, him, his wife, and son, went into hibernation, and he wakes up 500 years later, and he's the only one that survived from his family. And so basically, the story is just following him, venturing out into this new world, and trying to find. Basically, he's trying to make his way back home to Japan, but along the way, he is encountering different. Uh, I'll say people. That's not too much of a spoiler, but people, and just coming to grips with this new world, because it's like he was supposed to just be in sleep for maybe like a few months until whatever was going on might pass by, but freaking hundreds of years passed by. So now he is just making his way through the world and trying to figure out things along the way. So it has been very good. The art in it has been super dope. The art in it is super crazy. It honestly, like the art style of this series kind of reminds me in a way of Golden Kamuy, with like the thickness of the lines of the character art and stuff, and like some of like the crazy exaggerations of the facial expressions and stuff of the different characters and stuff. So, but yeah. So Longing for Home. This is one probably at some point in the coming weeks I'll do a separate discussion and stuff on, but just wanted to shout it out because this is one I've been reading this week. I think I just got to chapter 20 right before I started recording. So super dope stuff. And yeah, so I think that might be it as far as manga stuff I wanted to touch on. Let me just check. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. So this will be kind of a short and sweet episode. Like I said, just primarily wanted, like I said, just to highlight the state of play and a couple of manga things. But yeah. So I'm supposed to get off of here. It is 11 o'clock at night, and maybe read me a few more chapters of Longing for Home. I did read another chapter of The Witch and the Mercenary, and yeah. So I'm get ready to chill. And I hope that y'all enjoyed this short and sweet episode. Let me know what stuff from the state of play has your interest, and let me know what shows and manga and other things that y'all are kind of keeping up with lately, like me. So, but with that being said, thank you so much for watching and or listening. You can find me everywhere at Danny's to Talk. And yeah, so as I always say, treat yourself to something nice. Read some manga, watch some anime, TV shows, and movies, play some video games, and of course, live your best life. And with that, I am out. There will be more manga reviews coming soon, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Y'all be easy. Peace.